We're now going to start working with what are called quadratic functions. Anything that has x squared in it as the largest part is called a quadratic function. So the equations that we were working with and factoring earlier were actually quadratic functions. We'll see some of the stuff we saw with that as we work through this. Quadratic functions form a parabola, and it's just like a big U shape, like a satellite dish. They have some characteristics. First off, they have a vertex. The vertex is going to contain the x value for the axis of symmetry, meaning that what's on the left side and the right side are exactly the same. The vertex is also going to be the lowest point or the highest point depending upon what the graph looks like. And the values of y will decrease on the left side, increase on the right side as we go for a normal function. So let's take a look here. What can we tell from this? We can tell that our vertex is at -1 and -2. So we know our lowest point is -2. We know that our axis of symmetry, which is the dotted line, is x equals -2. -1, excuse me. -1. So that's the axis of symmetry, x equals -1. The function decreases when x is less than -1, and the function increases when x is greater than -1. The y values increase, the y values decrease. So let's look at a couple of can tell about them. Graph number 1, the axis of symmetry is x equals -2, or x equals 2. The vertex is 2, -3. When x is less than 2, the values of y decrease, y decreases. When x is greater than 2, y increases. So the domain of this would be all real numbers, so any x values could go out as far left or right as possible. The range would be y is greater than or equal to -3. The other function here, axis of symmetry, is x equals -3. Our vertex is -3 and 7. When x is less than -3, it increases. Y increases. When x is greater than -3, y decreases. We'll find out later that this graph number 2 has a negative leading coefficient, meaning that's why it's opening downward. We're going to look at how some of the graphs are going to relate to each other. I pushed the wrong button. Alright, first off, we want to graph ax squared, or just x squared. So if we do that, if we go from -3 to -2 to -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and draw a table, make a table. And just square those, we're going to get 9, 4, 1, 0, 1, 4, 9. So you see the symmetry there. So as I graph that, vertex is always going to be 0, 0. unless there's some number afterwards. And we go 1, 1, 2, 4, 3, 9. We do symmetrically on the other side. Negative 3, 9, negative 2, 4, negative 1, 1. And our graph would be connected, but I'm not going to try to draw that because I can't do that. We're just going to take those last values and multiply them by 2 to find the other graph that it's showing. So we're going to look at negative 3 is going to be 18, negative 2 is going to be 8, negative 1 is going to be 2, 0 is still going to be 0, 2, 8, and 18. So when we multiply by the number 2, we're just actually bringing the graph inward. So it goes inside and steeper, closes up. If we multiply by something that is less than 1, it's going to go the other way. It's going to open up and be wider. If we multiply by a negative, it's going to have the same reactions. So here I'm going to graph our first graph that we compare to. Okay, so there's our x squared, that's x squared. We want to look at negative 1/3 x squared. So we know that we're going to be opening downward. So if I put an x value of 2 in, let me do 0, 1, 2, 3. We know that this is going to go reverse. So this is going to be negative 1/3. This is going to be negative 4/3. This is going to be negative 3. So now we can graph, and I'm just going to use the 3 and negative 3. And we're going to do the same for negative 3 and negative 3. And we can see that we open up quite a bit more with the 1/3. I'm not going to do a lot of graphing with you. I just need you to understand how things change and how they vary depending upon what's in the quadratics.